We're going to go into the top three things that you need to know about the new home buyers plan that the Liberal government has just released. And it's really a lot of changes. So I'll get into them in just a moment here. But really, there's really three main things that I want you all to take away from the video today. And as we get into everything, we're going to be getting right into these changes. So thanks for watching today's episode 176 of Canadian Mortgage Weekly, Canada's weekly mortgage video news podcast. And we're going to get right into the top three things you really need to know about in regards to the new home buyers plan. And what is the home buyers plan? Let's get into that. So the home buyers plan, it's a tool that home buyers, first-time buyers, use to get into the market when they are buying their first home. So typically, someone would have had contributed to an RRSP, which is a registered retirement savings plan. And this can be done through your employer, or you can set one up on your own. And essentially, when you contribute to an RRSP, which is the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, you get a huge benefit because you do so. And one of those benefits is, well, the main benefit is that you can actually claim that money against your income and get money back on your taxes when you contribute to the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, the RRSP. Let's just call it the RRSP going forward. So as you accumulate money in there, you can then take that money out. But typically, when anyone takes that money out, they need to pay income tax on that money because it was never paid at the very beginning, because you got that income tax that you paid on that money back. So typically, you need to pay income tax on the money that you take out of an RRSP when you retire, something like drawing an income. But the benefit about taking the money out to buy your first home is that you don't have to pay any income tax on this money at all. So not only do you get the benefit of getting the money back when you contribute to the Registered Retirement Savings Plan, when you contribute to the RSP, but you get that tax-free money right away once you're taking that money out to buy that first home. So that's what a first-time home buyers plan looks like. And up until just a few years ago, they had a limit on this plan, and the limit was $25,000. So you could only contribute and take out up to $25,000 for the retirement savings plan. But there's some changes that I'm going to cover off today that that have some good news in regards to the limit. But that limit of 25,000 was just a few years ago. Then they increased it to 35,000, and that's been the limit up until just this month. So let's get into the episode today. And if you're joining Canadian Mortgage Weekly here on TikTok or Instagram, feel free to pop in your questions. I'm happy to answer them. And if you're watching us on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, do the same there. I'm going to be checking two different screens here for those questions. So now that we've covered off the RRSP home buyers plan and what it is and how it allows a home buyer to contribute to that registered retirement savings plan and get that income tax money back, and then use that savings account as a source of a down payment when they're ready to buy a home, and to use that money without any taxable income. One of the main changes that have just been announced by the Liberal government is an increase in these withdrawal limits. And as I was mentioning earlier in the episode, the withdrawal limit just until a few years ago was 25,000, and 25,000 remained that limit for years and years and years. And then it was increased just a few years ago from 25,000 to 35,000. One of the main drivers of that increase was that house prices had gone up quite considerably since the home buyers plan was introduced. So they wanted to try to align the new withdrawal limit with the increase in home prices. Now, the $35,000 increase, or if you're two people buying together, 70,000 increase in these limits originally was touted as not enough. So let's look at what we're looking at these new withdrawal limits today, and that is that the new budget has proposed that Canadians can withdraw as much as $60,000 for their RRSP, and that's up from the previous limit of $35,000. So couples purchasing a home together now, two people buying a home together, now will be able to withdraw up to $120,000 using their RRSP home buyers plan. So that is quite a large change from that $35,000 limit that we're going up from. So $35,000 to $60,000. That's the increase in the withdrawal limit, and that combined will give you a withdrawal limit of $120,000. So now that we've seen an increase from the original $25,000 a few years ago to that $35,000, to that $120,000, to the $60,000 now, which is $120,000 for the couple, I can honestly say now that the RRSP home buyers plan has finally caught up to what the house prices are today. It seemed like 25,000 when it was introduced years ago did not really help out anyone unless they were buying a very, very modestly priced home and were buying with 5% down. But this also allows home buyers now to do something different, and that is to put up to 20% down on a home, because by being able to withdraw up to $120,000, you can actually find condominiums in the Toronto area for $500,000, and to buy a $500,000 condo with 20% down, withdrawing a $120,000 would be able to achieve that. So no longer using the home buyers plan also chains you to a CMHC insured mortgage, providing that's the entire down payment that you have that's coming from the RRSP. So that is the first change, everyone. That is the first change, the increase in the withdrawal limit from 35,000 to 60,000. And if you're just joining me here, whether you're on TikTok or LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or X, wanted to welcome you to Canadian Mortgage Weekly, Canada's video mortgage weekly news podcast. And we're talking about today specifically the home buyers plan and the changes, the top 3 changes you really need to know about. And the first change we covered off here today was the increase in these withdrawal limits, which are huge because for years the withdrawal limits really didn't keep up to the cost of the homes, and really if that was your down payment, kind of change you to that CMHC insured mortgage. But now you can actually withdraw up to $60,000 per person, and together with a spouse or a partner, you can withdraw up to $120,000. So that $120,000 could technically be a 20% down payment on a condo in Toronto, or maybe more of a modestly priced detached home in a smaller, more rural market. All right, so that's number 1. What's the second really important thing that everyone needs to know about this new RRSP home buyers plan? Well, they've actually done something else, and this is a huge change because everyone always talks about how this is not a good plan because of this. And if you want to guess, pop it in the chat now. But if you don't want to guess, that is they've extended the repayment grace period. So that is huge because when you take out money from an RRSP to buy your first home, you really, you know that you need to start repaying this RRSP back to the plan. That's part of the agreement, and there is a grace period, but it's very short. So it comes faster than you know it. You're in your new home, and then all of a sudden you're paying this money back, and that's just another bill added to your electricity bill that you have, your gas bill, your phone bill, your tax bill, your insurance bill, your mortgage. So you don't want to have um, this repayment happen too soon. So right now, funds withdrawn under the home buyers plan must be repaid to a registered RRSP within a 15-year period or over a 15-year period. So technically, you need to contribute 1/15 of your RRSP money that you withdrew back every year. At least 1/15 of your withdrawal must be repaid to your RRSP every year. Up to now, though, the repayment period began as of the second year after the first withdrawal was made. But the new budget proposes that there's a temporary defer to the start of this repayment period by an additional, get this everyone, 3 years. So that is huge, an additional 3 years. So for anyone making their first withdrawal between Jan 1st, 2022 and December 31st, 2025, they would have 5 years before repayment would need to begin. So that is a huge change. So, wow, crazy. I love it. So that is a new change, everyone, the extension in the repayment periods. And if you ever use the home buyers plan, that's one of the main things that a lot of people don't like is the fact that if they take money out of their RRSP, that then they need, then there's an obligation there hanging to repay that money back into your RRSP. So no one wants to have an obligation stuck over their head. So by being able to defer this for up to 5 years, really, here in this case, can give you that opportunity to get settled into your home for the long term before you need to start worrying about repaying that money back into your RRSP. So it really makes it very flexible. You can start repaying early, but it makes it very flexible in case you need extra time to get settled in and to really get your house expenses and manage all that under control. All right. So that is the two main things that you need to know about the RRSP home buyers plan and the changes that are happening in Canada. So if you're just joining me here now, we are talking about the new home buyers plan that's been introduced by the Liberals here in Canada. It's been introduced to become a lot more user friendly and really give a better impact on home buyers looking to get in their first home. So we're looking at these changes. And here on Canadian Mortgage Weekly, Canada's weekly mortgage news podcast, we're looking at the top 3 items you need to know. And the top 2 items we covered so far are the increased withdrawal limits. So we've seen an increase of the withdrawal limit from the current $35,000 per person or $70,000 per couple to a $60,000 per person or $120,000 per couple. We've also seen an extended repayment period introduced on this RRSP home buyers plan, which extends that time, that grace period, that you need to start repaying this money back into your RRSP by what I'm reading here, up to 5 years. So that would be just crazy because it says anyone that has their first withdrawal period between Jan 1st, 2022 and December 31st, 2025, they would have up to 5 years before repayment would need to begin. So that gives you lots of time to get settled into your home, get your expenses under control, and really start looking at repaying it. And then when you start repaying it, you don't have to repay it all that year. You just need to repay a percentage every year, an equal percentage, until that 15-year period is completed. So pretty amazing. So that is some very useful. Those are some very useful changes that have come into effect, and some things you probably want to know. The third thing that you need to know about is that When is this happening? When is this coming into effect? Does anyone know? Does anyone want to pop it into the chat about when these changes are coming into effect? All right, so the changes are coming into effect for the repayment period at a different time than the withdrawal limits. And the withdrawal limits are effective immediately. I know this because I'm working on a file where this is occurring right now, and even the underwriter was surprised. The underwriter is saying, "When is this happening? Has this happened yet?" And my client actually called their RRSP issuer, and they confirmed this change is already happening now. So, great news for anyone looking at getting into a first time homebuyer program now, because by having these changes implemented right away, if you have extra money in your RRSP, you can immediately take advantage of this program by withdrawing up to $60,000 from your RRSP to purchase a home. And if you're a couple and you're two people, you can withdraw up to $120,000 now to purchase your first home. And this extended grace period, though, this is coming to effect on August 1st of this year. So that is happening just a few more months from now. So May, June, July, 3 months from now, so 90 days. But it includes all the withdrawals between Jan 1st, 2022 and December 31st, 2025. If you're wondering where I have sourced this information from, I would like to give credit to the Money Matters article, Federal Budget 2024. That was released by RBC Royal Bank. So thank you, RBC. So those are the top three changes. And one is the increase in the withdrawal limit. Two, increase in the repayment grace period. And three, when are they taking effect? So just to cover these off, if you're just joining us now on Canadian Mortgage Weekly, Canada's weekly mortgage video news podcast, we have been covering off the top three things you need to know about the RRSP home buyers plan. Those are number one, that there is a change in the maximum withdrawal limit from $35,000 per person to $60,000 per person, which prior was $70,000 per couple and now is $120,000 per couple. We have seen also a change in the repayment grace period, where it was previously up to 2 years. Now the repayment grace period will be up to 5 years. So that's a great change for a lot of home buyers that need that extra time to get settled into that home. And top three, number three, the third thing to know is the change date. So you can start actually withdrawing your $60,000 immediately from your RSP issuer. I recommend, however, you still call them to confirm, like I had my client do. However, this is a very big RRSP issuer in Canada, and they confirmed it. And we actually were looking at this over a weekend period, so we couldn't get a hold of anybody over the weekend. But we did see online that there are a few Reddit articles, not saying Reddit's a perfect source of information, but with people saying they called their RSP issuers and they were different and same, and they said it was immediate as well. So that is great news. Second thing is that there's the repayment grace period. It went from 2 years to 5 years. Great to see that increase. And yeah, that effective date. So on that increase in grace period is August the 1st. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. It's not immediate like the withdrawal limit. So, other than that, guys, there's some other things happening in the mortgage market I wanted to take a look at. So, if you're just joining me here today, we just covered off the top three things to know about the new home buyers plan. But if you are a first time home buyer and you would like to connect with a mortgage broker, you can connect with me by booking an appointment time with me in the link in the video description below. By clicking on that link, you'll be able to book an appointment with me for a 5-minute quick consultation to see if you can get your questions answered. And if you want to move forward, there's always an opportunity to schedule more time later. And you can do that below or follow my channels that are listed below as well to help you get some information to help you with your home purchase or home refinance. But if you are a first time home buyer, one thing you'll want to know is what the rates are and where they're headed. And we've heard a lot this year about rates coming down this year. And whether or not that's going to happen is still yet to be for sure, because earlier this year, we've had a lot of banks go on record by saying, they're going to see rates fall in June or September or July. I don't think any of that's really going to materialize anytime soon, because we have seen inflation go up in Canada and we've seen inflation go up in the United States. So it's really hard to warrant a rate cut anytime soon because of that. What do you guys think? Do you want to pop in the chat if you guys think rates are going down or up? I know that in the United States, just yesterday, they kept rates the same. And they mentioned lack of progress on inflation. So if that same sentiment is going to be here in Canada, we will see a very similar economic time frame with inflation in Canada and when rates will come down. And with inflation going up in Canada recently, we probably won't see rates come down anytime soon, unfortunately. I think September is the earliest we could see rates coming down. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're looking to get into the market right now, how does this really affect you? Well, in the short term, I think that rates may actually go up slightly on the fixed rate side while the Bank of Canada is holding rates steady. And that just happens because of the market and how it works with interest rates. However, if you're a first-time home buyer, what are you supposed to do? If you're a first-time home buyer, I always recommend getting a pre-approval to hold your interest rate and guarantee you a max interest rate. That way you have a pre-approval certificate, number one, to give you confidence if you do find that home that you're looking for. And that way you can jump on that, make an offer, and you're good to go. But if you don't use it, at least it was there and it was free to get. It doesn't cost you anything to get a pre-approval certificate. Also, by getting a pre-approval certificate, if rates go down, it also solidifies you into that new rate, because they automatically lower the rates for you when when rates go down and you have that pre-approval. So if you're buying a house and rates have gone down, since your pre-approval has been issued, you will get that lower rate. You're not stuck in that interest rate. So that's another thing to consider, right? So if you're a first-time home buyer, I would do that just in case rates go up over the summer. And if rates do go up over the summer, you're going to be protected. You'll have the lower interest rate locked in. And if rates go up, house prices might even come down just a little bit over the summertime, and you might score a little bit of a better deal with today's interest rate. But what happens if rates go down in September or later? Because I think rates aren't really coming down until the end of this year, September or later. And because of that, I would always recommend taking a mortgage that's flexible to be able to give you that opportunity to take that lower rate later. If you don't like that riskiness, though, of being stuck in a shorter term mortgage, and possibly experience also a high rate on the other side, because that could also happen. Rates could go the other direction all of a sudden, and then. But if you like to take a little bit of a bet here by taking a shorter term mortgage, a 2 or a 3 year term mortgage, you could lock in right now at today's rate when you buy, and then if rates come down in the future, you could renew 2 or 3 years from now at that lower rate. Conversely, though, that is a bet and it is a risk. So if you don't like that risk, you could always lock in for the full 5 years and then not really worry about it. Also, the 5 year rate right now currently is the lowest. So if you're looking for the lowest rate and the less risky way to do this, take the 5 year rate. So if you're a first time home buyer, I would recommend doing that. And if you find something, then just jump on it. But if you are thinking that rates might come down and you want to wait till then, you might see higher home prices as a result. The benefit of getting a pre-approval during a time when we don't think rates are going to come down, the market usually slows down a tad bit over the summer. You might be able to get a little bit of a better deal over the summer. Now, for house prices, they have been going up steadily since October of 2023. If we look at house prices and how it's been in the last month, I can see here that in the last month, the house price change on an average level, average Canadian national house price, has gone up 1.9% to $698,530. So that's the average price home you can buy in Canada right now. And yes, like I said, every month it seems to have been going up now since October. So that's quite good news here for a lot of homeowners. But if you're a home buyer and looking to get into the market when it's a down market, what does that mean for you? Well, if you look at a housing price graph, usually in the summertime, it does lag slightly. And if I look at last year, the spring market was the highest peak. Then we had a summer lag in Canada, just as we are probably going to have this year. I don't know how much of a lag, but we shall see. And with interest rates still high, it's going to push that lag. Interest rates go down, it's going to really increase rates further, increase prices further, sorry. So that's what I think will happen there. If you have any comments about any of this, though, you can always give me a shout by booking an appointment with me in the video link in the description below. So by clicking that appointment link, you can actually book a 5-minute phone call or video call with me, and we can talk about your mortgage, and we can see if there's anything we can do for you and go from there. But if you ever have any questions, that's the way to do it. Or you can reach out to me on social media, like my channels, like my links below, and follow me for more information. I try to release at least a video every day on my TikTok and YouTube channels. So always follow me there for the latest and greatest content, and I can keep you guys posted there. But yes, so when's the next rate announcement happening in Canada? Because we'll be doing an interest rate announcement here on my channel, Canadian Mortgage Weekly. We'll be doing it live. And I don't anticipate any changes in the next interest rate announcement because of the fact that inflation really has been pretty sticky here in Canada. We haven't seen any decreases in the inflation rate. All right, so the next rate announcement is, well, the last one was on April the 10th. And the next one is on June the 5th. So we'll have the next rate announcement on June the 5th. We'll cover it off on Wednesday, June 5th at 9:30 with a live announcement at 9:45 with commentary following till 10 a.m. So thanks for watching, everyone, today. This has been episode 176 with Canadian Mortgage Weekly, Canada's weekly mortgage video news podcast. Looking forward to joining you next week. And if you have any questions about the first-time home buyers plan, do book an appointment with me using the link in the video description below. It's a 5-minute call, and we can see if we can help you with your mortgage. In the meantime, thanks for watching. You guys have an awesome day.